Hey, what's up everyone? Cardboard.Capitan here, and today I want to talk about best of one. Now, normally I'm a best of three Alchemy player, but I remember one day I was facing a ton of the Japanese players, and by the time I got done with it, I was screaming, Yamate Kudasai. So I decided, hey, let me try best of one because I've been hearing about this Aquatic Subtlety and Omniscience deck, and I played a lot of that in Alchemy, so let's get started. So my points of discussion, I'll also have these as timestamps in the description. Brief history about Omni in Alchemy, both pre-nerf Kona and post-nerf Kona. No ban, that's a type on my part. Transitioning from Kona to Subtlety, how did the deck change, playstyle wise, key card wise, stuff like that. Best of three or best of one. Where is the best queue to play it in? Some sample lists, spell priorities, how to play the deck, stuff like that, and some demonstration games. Okay, so the big change with the most recent changes in Alchemy, Kona had its cost increased by one. So previously it was 3 colorless and 1 green, but because Wizards felt that the deck was too fast, and so they made it 4 colorless and 1 more green. Now, while it's still possibly possible to combo off with it, it's a bit slower, and so it might not be the best option. And at the same time, oh, this is Omniscience. Just to touch on the combo briefly, you play Kona, and then tap it with a station land, and then in your post-combat main phase, you play Omniscience, you play a bunch of cards, and then you'd win the game. Now, some combos include, there's a draw 7 and Excruciator Demon, which gives a Doomsday effect. You mill out your opponent. The most common one you'd see is Indris. Indris is an otter. You play that, and it'd put a lightning bolt in your library with Storm. You play a bunch of cards to cycle through your deck, eventually drawing that Storm card, bolt your opponent to death. Okay. So at the same time as those nerfs, so there's a new card called Aquatic Subtlety, and what it did was you can draw 2, discard 2, and blue creature cards in your hand perpetually gain, evoke, exile a blue card from your hand. So meaning you can use the enter the battlefield effect of a bunch of blue creature cards more efficiently. So one blue creature card that stood out is Sin's Spira's Punishment. And whenever Sin enters or attacks, you exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random, create a token that's a copy of that card. If the exiled card is a land card, repeat this process. So the basic idea is you get Omniscience in your graveyard either through Subtlety or turns earlier with the other card, then evoke your Sin, you bring out Omniscience, and then you go off from there. Now, there is a downside to this version in that if you have additional non-land permanents, there's a chance that Sin will bring it in, but I'll touch on that a bit later. So the effect with Kona, the deck potentially had multiple outs. So with Kona, you might have some, I wouldn't say redundancy, but alternate paths to bringing out Kona, such as Builder's Talent or Rescue Skiff. I'll have that in the example list. With Subtlety, it leans more into the graveyard, making it better for best of one. So because um, cards that will bring Omniscience from your graveyard, Rescue Skiff, and what's the other one? Builder's Talent are permanents. That's an additional risk you play should those get discarded. And if you try to go with a Sin game plan, then there's a chance you might bring those back instead of Omniscience. So, Graveyard, I mean, most people are playing Soul Guide Lantern or Ghost Vacuum and possibly more in best of 3. So, I recommend sticking to best of 1 if you choose to play Aquatic Subtlety and Omniscience. Okay, so this isn't the exact list I played because I remember swapping out Builder's Talent for Rescue Skiff very late into the lifespan of pre-nerf Kona. But the basic idea, Kona, you've got some tap lands like Avendo Waking Haven, Adagia, and the Seriema. I used to play that a lot. Tap Kona, bring in Omniscience. You have stuff like Roiling Dragonstorm, and then you play those with Cunning Azure Scale and Meringue, cycle through your deck. I did, in this version, I did run a bunch of one-ofs, such as, well, you do need Indris. Prime Speakers again, Shiko, which happens to also be a dragon, as well as some strong dig cards, such as Abandoned Attachments and Cash Grab. I also had some alternative paths with Builder's Talent. Down the line, I also used Rescue Skiff. And since this was best of 3, you also have to watch out for people removing Kona. So I used Voice of Victory, and while that did potentially delay the combo to turn 6, it was more, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but more promised, because you drop Voice of Victory, and then you have the rest of the turn to do whatever you want. So you could play Kona and then go off from there. Okay, Subtlety for best of 1. I believe this is my most current list. Now, since it's best of 1, you don't have to worry about a sideboard as much, but there are some things you have to worry about, such as Scavenging Ooze. So that's why there's Into the Flood Maw. There's some people who are running main deck graveyard removal, such as Ghost Vacuum, and they'll fetch that with Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I also have 3 counter spells, Long River's Pull, which is great because it can do creatures and non-creatures. But the rest of it is just getting the combo off. So you have card draw, card filter, stuff like that. And I'll have this, I believe, in the description below if you want to try it out and just copy it from Moxfield. So the basic combo is you discard Omniscience, then you cast the Aquatic Subtlety, and then have a Sin in hand once you discard. Now, usually you want to have a Sin in hand when you do cast Aquatic Subtlety, but there are some games where you just have to take that risk and pray you draw a Sin. You evoke Sin to bring Omni in from the graveyard. You cast a stream of spells to get Indris, then continue the stream to get the Lightning Bolt. So what I mean by stream of spells, your card draw, your card filter, and so on. And there is a specific way you play them just so you have the best chance of continuing that stream. Okay, so what I mean by the stream, you want to prioritize net gain. So, for example, Stock Up is a 2-for-1. Consult the Charts is also a 2-for-1. Now note that even though Omniscience makes all your spells for free, you do have to pay mana for that kicker cost. So you need at least you need 2 untapped islands to pay the blue and 1 colorless. Then you go for 1-for-1 trades. Then you go for 2-for-1s. So abandon attachments, chart a course, and the only real difference between those is when you discard. Abandon attachments also has some synergy with the other lesson in the deck. But again, it's going to depend on your hand state on and what you can afford to discard. Oh. Now keep in mind, Indris will draw a card if you have in play. So that's going to affect your decision making when discarding. Note that you can counter your own spell with Indris in play to draw a card. Make sure you have full control to do so. So there are some times when you have a low amount of cards to continue that stream. Well, you can counter, say, an Omniscience or some other card you don't need once you have it in play. And since Long River's Pull is an instant, you can use that as a way to draw a card and hopefully into some more gas to continue your sequence. So keep that in mind if you're running out of options when playing. As far as unfavorable matchups, green with Scavenging Ooze, that's definitely a big minus. Bouncing it is the best solution, or if you can dump more Omnis in your graveyard than they can afford to pay green to have Ooze remove it, that's another option. But also note that green can go sometimes fast, so sometimes if you don't have the combo in turn 3, you just lose. Blue, it can counter, bounce the Omni token or combo themselves, counter the Aquatic Subtlety if possible. So counter spells, they're going to mess up your combo, so just be aware of those. Another thing to note, when I say bounce the Omni token, Sin doesn't bring back Omni itself, it produces a token. So if they bounce that Omni back, then you're boned, right? Now you can either pack a counter spell to counter that, or have the Omni token come into play and then play the word's not physical, but like the permanent version of Omni. So you play Omni from your hand as an enchantment, and assuming they only have 1 untapped blue, then you're alright. If you're playing against it, you want to counter the Aquatic Subtlety, because even if they don't have the combo itself, like the full combo, that's still a draw 3, discard 3, so there's a chance that they draw into the combo. Discard, it's combo deck. You may also, I did run into Ancient Vendetta one time. I did have counter for that. And yeah, I guess the only thing I want to add, sometimes you just don't draw into your combo. I mean, there's some fast aggro, so in addition to green, you might run into red. You might run into white. There's like a white enchantment deck that's pretty fast and kills on turn 4. So use your Into the Flood Maws as you see fit. That's why they're there. And if need be, counter some powerful cards with Long River's Pull. So I remember counting like a Ouroboros or a Craterhoof Behemoth. Stuff like that. It comes with repeated play of your deck and building up that experience. So I believe, yeah, let me go to the gameplay. So I want to start with some rapid games just to show you how the deck plays out, some decision-making stuff like that. And then there are a few games that I record that also stand out And I'd put those into more advanced gameplay that's not as straightforward. So let's go to the gameplay. Okay, let's go. So, as far as this hand goes, plenty of card draw, double salty. Ideally, you want to have at least one combo piece in your starting hand. I'd say this is a keep. Because even though there's only one combo piece, you got plenty of card draw. Opt will let you draw I'd say 6 cards deep because it is a scry 1. And then Salty will let you draw 2 cards deep. Unfortunately, I don't have okay, there's another combo piece. So now you're waiting for Omniscience here. Now I do have Into the Flood Maw. And the opponent's not putting a lot of threats on the deck, or not on the deck. A lot of threats on the board. So I can play a little slow here. I probably should have kept that stock up, but not too worried about it. And there's the Omniscience. So I can go combo off here, in addition to having Indris. So having 2 fuel cards, I'll call them, to get more cards. So this should be an easy combo out. I want to consult ideally for stock up. Okay, there's a stock up. And I'll go Salty because I don't need any more lands. I can use it as fodder. And I'm going to start building up lesson count in my graveyard. So the rest is just going off now. And I'm drawing a bunch of lands. At this point, you don't need anything but your draw spells, and there's a lightning bolt. So, opponent psychic and guesses that I do have the lightning bolt and just concedes. Okay, let me fast forward a bit. Oh. Okay. So 2 parts of the combo plus 2 charts of court, 2 chart of courses. Let me definitely play into that. I also have Opt, which I can cast at the end of the turn. I do not want abandoned attachments. Ideally, I want to play aggressively. Oh, not ideally. I want to play aggressively now, so hopefully I can get a turn 2, not a turn 2, turn 3 Sin combo out. I do see a blue, so I need to watch out for bounce and possibly a counterspell. And that's why I'm keeping 1 Omniscience in hand. So you'll notice that the opponent didn't tap their Willow Rush, and that's a potential 2 blue for a counter spell or even a bounce. So I want to play around that. I'm going to chart a course here. And I have my 2 1 mana blue cards, so it's a good find. So opponent's not being too greedy, which I respect. So what I'm going for is a long rivers pull. Okay, they're getting more lands. Okay, so Frostcliff Siege. And here I'm returning the Badgermole Cub. I mean, one, to reduce the amount of damage I take, but also to hopefully tempt them into playing the Cub again. Okay. There is my Sin, but there's also Long River's Pull. Now I'm gonna go to Sin because of the board state. It's about the time where, you know, I'm forced to combo out. But they have the counter spell, so. So, I mean, I'm going to see if they have anything else they can play, but with Siege, that card's going to have haste. There's Vocalist. I got nothing, so. Yeah, that just happens. Alright, next game. Okay, so I have Sin. Definitely a keepable hand. I can go op, then chart a course, and then stock up. And then a blue. So again, watch out for bounce, watch out for counter magic. Okay, Corey Steel Cutter. So the good news about Corey Steel Cutter and Otter type decks, you'll have some greedy players who try to maximize their damage. While I could chart a course, note that I have a good amount of islands in hand, so I think it's better to go accumulate wisdom to go 3 cards into the deck. And since they're tapped out, if I get Aquatic Subtlety next turn, then I can combo out. So I'm gonna get Omniscience in case I don't get Subtlety. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm gonna go discard an Omniscience. So I'm set up. I think I'm gonna go for 5 for a turn 5 combo, just so I can Long Rivers Pull if I need be. But again, the opponent taps such that they have no blue mana to either bluff out a counter spell or a bounce spell. So again, no Subtlety this turn, which is alright. But the opponent's starting to build a critical mass of creatures with prowess, so I gotta look out for that. Okay? There's a talent, okay? There is a 9. Okay. So if I don't get a Subtlety here, I just lose. And I curse the shuffler for being rigged. But, I mean, sometimes you just gotta see if your opponent's gonna do anything. Okay, stock up. Yeah, that's game now. Yeah, and that happens. I mean, your combo's not gonna come out every time, so you just go next, right? That's the nature of best of one. Oh, okay. So let me go back. So, I'm a keep. I mean, no combo pieces, but I have a lot of strong control. And I'm gonna bounce that just to slow down the tempo. Okay, so I do have the island at least. So I'm digging aggressively just because I have no combo pieces. There's Survivor. Now I believe this is the white enchantment deck I've been seeing around. So, I believe the card's the most helpful Weaver. And it's that card that makes a 2/1 Spire token. And at the end of the saga, you give a creature double strike. So you pair that with the 1/1 that puts +1/+1 tokens based on enchantments, Nact Moon, stuff like that. And you have a fast white weenie deck. Here, I'd say it's pretty slow, going slow for the opponent right now, so I'm not under too much of a threat. I don't know if they have a bunch of control cards in their hand right now. So let's see where I discard Flunmaw. Okay. Yeah, so with this, while I could do a kick consult the star charts, playing the sequence of abandon and then consult lets me draw 6 cards deep. I'm gonna stack up. And I really want to hold that Long River's pull counterspell, so that's why I'm not playing too aggressively right now. Feather of Flight, not too worried about that. Now, note that with combo decks in general, you want to try to save your combo for the either to where your opponent can't respond or to the last possible second to maximize your chances of completing the combo. So, like, for example, with this deck, you might wait until the last second so that you have the maximum number of draw spells in your hand. There's a Sin. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go Subtlety. Discard Omniscience. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's anything the opponent can do. Possibly a disenchant or another enchantment removal spell. So I have the Long River's Pull in case I need it. I also have a backup Omniscience, so it's just a matter of, hey, can I draw the cards I need? So I got Accumulate and Chart a Course. Accumulate Wisdom into nothing. More lands. Another Sin. It's not looking good. And that's why I always say, hey, let the opponent play out their combo. But with one card alone, I'm surviving. And there's Indra, so I'm alright now. Again, I mean, these Accumulate Wisdoms are likely going to draw into gas, as they are now draw 4. But you can always just cast Long River's Pull, countering your own spells should you need that option. So at this point, I'm just looking for Lightning Bolt. Yeah. Also note, I'm not sure how this deck plays on mobile. I know mobile has a smaller screen, but I always play on PC. Oh, there's Lightning Bolt. So on mobile, I can see this massive hand size being a pain. Okay. That's that. That's about 20 minutes of just like generic gameplay. Let me go to the more focused matches. Let's see, 4630. Yeah, okay. So this match I want to highlight just because it's a mirror match. Now, as far as the hand goes, this is a good hand. You have 2 combo pieces. But I think the key turns for the mirror match are turn 3, because that's the earliest the combo can go off, and turns going on from that. So I have Long River's Pull in case they want to Subtlety this coming turn. You want to counter the Subtlety because it also counts as a draw spell. So I'm going to counter it here. And unfortunately, I don't have a Subtlety of my own there. Okay, pool resources gives me a fish. Stock up, okay. So there's a Subtlety. But I also want to get the Long River's Pull. And also note that I'm running low on cards to continue the stream, or rather the card draw sequence. So, okay, there is an Omniscience. I could go for the combo here, but I'm not totally comfortable, because I see that 2 untapped blue mana. Okay, Azure Scale. Okay. Okay, I'm not too worried about swinging there because, you know, if they play Cunning Azure Scale, they tap out, and I can safely combo off from there. There's a Subtlety. Okay, they don't discard Omni there. There is a Sin. Okay, but they do bring back a Sin token. There's the Omni. And then that's the way you play again. That's the way you play against the combo deck itself. If they don't have any counter spells, you play double Omni. Normally what we've done is play Into the Floodmaw to bounce that. And attempted to... Well, let me rephrase that. And I would have hoped that they didn't have any draw spells or anything like that. I mean, I probably conceded too early, but, you know, I just didn't want to play anymore, right? So, it's up to you based on how much you want to wait to see if they have what they need to continue. Okay, 102.18. 102.18. Okay. I have the combo in hand, but I don't have any gas. So there's Dragonstorm. So they're playing a dragon variant, and the effect of that is that, you know, since they're running non-Omniscience permanents, there's a risk that they have a chance to bring back a non-Omni permanent in their graveyard to Sin and brick their combo, but okay, there's stock up. So I'm gonna get an island. And just wait. I want to keep up. Long River's Pull. Okay, now if I had another Omni, I would have went for the combo there, possibly. I do still have to worry about Spell Pierce if they have one untapped blue. So let's see. Okay. Get an island. Probably could have tried going for the combo there. But I think what I want to do is, since I do see some station lands, I want to be able to Subtlety, and if that fail or if that has an answer, you can long rivers pull, and if that has an answer, I still have the Flood Maw for Kona. Okay. So let's see how this goes. I get another long rivers pull, which is fine. I think what I was going for here, I have two long rivers pull, so I was waiting for the opponent to play something, and hopefully have them tap out, trying to win the counter war with the two long rivers pull. Go stock up here. I'd say Omni's fine. I do have an Omni in the graveyard, so that's going to leave me the option I can either discard Omni here, or keep it in hand so that I can play Omni from the graveyard and then play the physical Omni from the hand. So I go for it here. Okay, opponent's been waiting to exhale. Double exhale, okay. So I'm along, or attempt to counter Kona. But even though it's looking pretty dire right now, note that the opponent has 2 cards in hand. So if they have an Omniscience in hand, what are they going to play? That 1 card? So that's why it's not like an instant concede here. So also worth noting, if they play a spell with Kona, yeah, they have about 9 mana. If they, I can respond to that spell. Okay, there's a Subtlety, and then bounce Omniscience, so that's another option. They don't have anything for the second Subtlety, and so they concede. I guess they know I have the combo, huh? Alright. So I can tell I'm getting a little depleted from talking about those matches, so let me go to the outro then. Alright, thanks for watching. You can find me on X under the username Cardboard.Capitan. You can find me on Moxfield, where you can find this deck and various other Alchemy decks I enjoy playing, under the username Cardboard_Capitan. And if you enjoyed the content, do like, do comment, do subscribe. I will see you all next time.